loads. I mean, after Killing Time, we actually recorded a track called Pray, which was quite a big sort of dance hit. We actually had a mix from Todd Terry. You know, obviously, you know, so this went out, it went to about 2 in the club chart and everything else. And then it went quiet really for a while because we had wind of the Sash thing happening. And we were sort of waiting really to see what would happen there. Nothing happened, and I thought, oh, you know, perhaps it's not going to happen, you know, never mind. So, and then at the beginning of this year, they got in touch with us again, and apparently Sash was touring and heard Killing Time on the radio. And liked it so much that he got in touch with my record company, and we did Mysterious Times. And really it was sort of 4 months touring with them, which is pretty full on, sort of all over the world. And then obviously we tried to come back really with a track that was as strong as Mysterious Times, which is Pray, which is quite like an anthem-y type thing. Probably the poppiest thing I think I've ever recorded in my life. But yeah, it was cool, it was okay. So, and it's, you know, it's going down really well, it's going down Storm. And really Killing Time, which is the one that everybody will know more than anything, is getting re-released, and Sasha's very kindly done a remix on it for me, so that will be being re-released after Pray, January time. The weird thing is that when I actually went to record Mysterious Times, he wasn't actually there. There are 2 other writers called Thomas and Ralph, and they were really lovely actually. I was extremely nervous when I went over to do it because it was all, if you don't sing it right, we're not going to use it. It wasn't, we're just going to use you anyway because you're whatever. It was solely on what your voice was like, which I was quite flattered about. So yeah, they were really quite sweet. You know, we had a glass of wine or whatever before I went in to do it, and it made all the difference because I did it in about 4 takes, you know. So the first meeting was actually the day of the video. It was the first time that we actually met, so we had to get to know each other quite quickly, really. You know, and it was actually shot in a wind tunnel in Bedford, and I was quite annoyed because the last video, La Primavera, had been in Hawaii, and I thought, yeah, great, you know, on the beach and everything, and then we did it in Bedford in a wind tunnel, so it wasn't quite what I was expecting. Ooh, the man himself. Well, the weird thing was, I mean, when I first came here, I was, you know, I sort of walked in the door with all these sort of platinum discs everywhere and everything, and I thought, oh, you know, it was a bit sort of, a bit overpowering when you first walk in the door, but when you actually get to know him, it's like a cuddly teddy bear, really. It's quite sweet, you know. You know, and I keep getting asked, oh, you know, every time someone finds out that you've done something with Pete Waterman, they say, Kylie Jason, you know, and they start to knock him a bit, and I say, you know, how can you knock this guy? It's like, you know, in the 80s especially, he was massive. You know, and they say, yeah, but he did pop, and it's like, yeah, but 80s was pop, wasn't it? Pop was the 80s. That was like Wham and Material Girl with Madonna and things like that, you know, and they're still hanging around. So yeah, been cool. Yeah, so I've actually just finished it, and I think people will be quite surprised as well because obviously it's got Mysterious Times on there. We were allowed to put that on there, and it's got Pray on there and Killing Time and Angel, the one that people never heard. Yeah, and there are a couple of other quite sort of full-on dance tracks on there, but there's a couple that are quite jazzy, there are a couple of drum and bass on there's a ballad, so I think people will be quite surprised when they listen to it. It's not, people aren't going to say, oh, it's just another pop album, you know, so I'm happy. Well, you know, and this is really dating back, but I can say this now, I'm allowed to say this, I've always wanted to say this. When I was younger, I was very into sort of listening to people's voices, and I've always wanted, I mean, this is really, you know, this is never going to happen. I always wanted to work with someone like George Benson or something like that because I admire them so much because they've got such a fantastic voice. But if it was someone of a modern era with that type of voice, I suppose it'd be someone like Jamiroquai or something like that. That could be quite a cool mix, couldn't it? So. Ooh, technical question here. Well, actually, I've got to the stage where I can, you know, I know where the vocal bits are and where the other bits are on the desk, but it is quite confusing. I have to say that. You need to know where everything is. Well, no, I mean, I like to know a little bit about what's involved, but obviously more into the writing and things like that, but not necessarily with the production of it. I think I will leave that to the professionals. This is the new single, Pray. It's quite an anthem-y dance track. There is quite a wicked remix on there, a WIP mix. Not the same sort of dance package that it had before, but especially now that they've actually cut down the amount that you're allowed to have on a record. You can only have 3 tracks down a record, whereas before with Killing Time we had, you know, a wicked mixed package because you were allowed to have 6, 7 tracks on there. So Yeah, I mean, it's very different from some of the stuff I've done before. It's a little bit more commercial than the stuff I've done before, but I don't think that takes away from the track at all. I think it's a good track. And it's one of those songs that once you hear it once, you can't get it out of your head, so. Well, I'd be lying if I said I didn't, wouldn't I? I mean, obviously the most important thing to me is that I'm successful with the singing, mainly because it's been quite an uphill battle for me. I know when I gave an interview with Mixology last time, you know, it was that thing that everybody judges you on what you look like. And yeah, you know, it's when it comes to putting a picture on the front of a CD, then yeah, maybe it is a bonus, but it actually is a minus in lots of other things. It's a lot to be taken seriously. I love it when I'm on a radio thing and they say to me, all right then, sing something. And I'm like, come on then, ask me, you know, because because you look the way you do, you don't tend to get taken seriously. So, but I've finally managed that. It's taken a while. So, I don't know, it would be just to be successful in what I do. It's like somebody paying you to do your hobby. You know, I enjoy it so much. I get such a buzz out of it. And I've done the groundwork. I've done the, you know, gigging night after night with bands and lugging all the gear in and lugging it all back, you know. So I've not been one of those girls that sort of, you know, went to acting school or music school and got taught to sing. It was just the way it all happened, really. So, yeah, it would just be to be successful, I think. And obviously, if someone said, would you like to present a programme? I'd say, yeah, cool, of course. Oh, God, big time. And this isn't one of those crawly messages either, is that I have to say, especially recently, now it's started to take off, the amount of people who've gone, oh, we knew she'd do well, you know. But the support that I actually had DJ-wise was unbelievable, was the first bit of support I ever had. And it was because I did probably, you know, to date I've probably done 200 PAs in just about every club from the top of the country to here. So, and it was that thing where I made sure that I went and I sung live and met them, and, you know, they realise how hard you work because they work just as hard themselves night after night in clubs, you know. I don't think you can ever really understand unless you do it yourself. You can only sympathise, I think, if you've done it yourself. But they've been amazingly supportive, and every gig I've done since the Sash thing, they've all said, oh, wicked, excellent, you know, what happened to Killing Time, you know, and they all know that you've worked hard and they all remember you, and that's the thing that I appreciate the most, is that they actually remember who I am. Before the Sash thing, you know, it was really nice. They were all very nice, very sweet. Yeah, just thanks for remembering me, really.